Today I'll be talking about inflation, how prices in Montreal have been going up very fast. Inflation is where things cost more money over time. Like for instance, something used to cost $5 and with time that turns into 7, meaning that your money doesn't go as far as it used to. Like for instance, you're walking in your local pharmacy or any grocery store to begin with, and you notice with time the prices seem to be more elevated than they used to. This is a sign of inflation, and it goes to show that prices will increase over time. In Canada, experts use something called the Consumer Price Index. After the COVID-19 pandemic, prices started to go really up because of our lack of products and people started spending more. I was walking in my local pharmacy and I was having a little sweet tooth. So I walk over to the candy section and I noticed the prices were $3.99 on sale for a simple Skittles bag. That is not normal because I think back when I was a kid, the prices were much cheaper and more convenient. This is a sign of inflation. In Montreal, not only did prices increase in food, but it also did in housing because a lot of people want to live there, but there aren't enough homes. Therefore, this makes it harder for families to afford a place to stay, which also leads to homelessness, but Alexa will get into that shortly. One thing everyone can acknowledge on regards of inflation is the cost of transportation. Gas prices have skyrocketed, and so did public transportation prices. The problem here is that paychecks aren't going up as fast as prices. Sure, they're changing the minimum wage to $16.60 as of May 1st, but this is still a very small percentage and it is not equivalent to the prices rise by inflation. This problem causes people to spend less even if they're still earning money. To summarize everything I've just talked about, prices in Montreal are going up because of everything going on around the world and in the city itself, which makes it harder for people to afford everyday things. According to Statistics Canada, between 2020 to 2025, prices in Canada have increased by nearly 20%, showing a significant rise in the cost of living. Cities like Montreal are experiencing this higher cost, especially in housing and food. If inflation had remained at the normal rate of about 2% per year, prices would have increased by 10% between 20 to 2025. Instead, they rose by 20%, meaning the cost of living increased about twice as much as expected. Here we have Noah, a resident of Montreal for over 7 years and is a fellow student here at Dawson, who currently is working a full-time job as a full-time student just to be able to get by with paying for his one-room apartment currently located at Namur. How much was your rent when you first moved in, and how much is it now?
When I first moved in, my rent was about $1,000 a month. And now it's gone up to about like $1,500 a month.
1,500. Yeah. How has rising inflation affected your ability to pay rent?
I mean, it's been pretty hard. Now I'm a full-time student. I have to go to work almost every day of the week. It's pretty hard. So this rising inflation is making it harder for me to pay my rent, especially with all the groceries and the school fees I have to pay. It's pretty hard.
Thank you for sharing that. Noah is someone who has been strongly hit with the consequences of inflation as he deals with the current struggles of being able to get by living in Montreal. Would you say you're struggling?
I wouldn't say I'm struggling, but I would say that it definitely isn't easy living in Montreal.
All right, thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Of course.
Inflation doesn't just raise prices, it hits low-income individuals the hardest, pushing more people into poverty as basic needs become harder to afford. In extreme cases, rising cost of living and housing can even lead to homelessness. Food for the homeless. Right, Alexa?
Yes, I'm about to go give it to them.
We're gonna go give it to them.
As we gave home-cooked meals to people in need, we thought we would take our time to ask some questions to these people to get the perspective on how it is living in the streets.
We came across a very nice lady named Anne Rose, who was generous enough to share her experience with us on how she gets by living on the streets.
I lived here for 2 years on the street because I lost my place because EI was out, so I didn't have enough time to go on welfare, It's not what I wanted to do, but
Do they help you with like the welfare? Yeah.
not very much.
No. It's get into like shelters and stuff.
There is shelters, but you don't want to stay there.
Oh, it's.
I slept outside last night. It was cold.
Yeah. We asked Anne Rose a very deep question. Like, what are some assumptions people make about homeless people? And she responded with this.
People on the street don't do drugs. Some of us just drink.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see over there, people are dealing or living out here. And I don't hang out with mostly people that do drugs.
Yeah.
Because I only drink. I used to a long time ago. But the thing is, the misjudging of the street is that all people think all the homeless people are messy, we're mean, they're afraid of the metros and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
They're afraid to go in some metros because someone's screaming around or something.
Just like in the interview with Anne Rose, she stated that some shelters are not open on the weekends.
Only open during the week, so
Oh,
yeah,
they're not open Saturdays and Sundays?
no.
Even if it's 2 days, it's still throwing people out, and that's 2 days that they have to live on the streets. Obviously, in those shelters, their living conditions are not the best. So really, how are these shelters helping people and at what extent? Montreal is greatly affected by homelessness. With rising costs of living, inequality, and housing shortages, statistics say they are taking a big hit. For example, in 2025, there is a visible number of 12,000 people and over who are struggling with homelessness in Quebec, with half of those people being located in only Montreal. The numbers have risen by about 20% since 2022. Unfortunately, there are also the homeless who are temporarily living with friends, family, or in hotels. These people have not been added to these of which have not been added to visible homelessness, so there really are more than what we see. It really makes you think.
Hi, how are you? No, you didn't do anything, don't worry. I just wanted to know, like, would you be willing to answer some questions for our, because we have a school project, and I want to know if we could ask you some questions. Is that okay? Okay. And we also have some food if you'd like, just we're giving out. Would that be okay?